Yo, 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 what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host of the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back for another episode of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show. And you can't have Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show without the best of the West. You can't forget about it's Sara Marshall in the Yard of Streams. What's poppin', girl?
Hey yo.
Hello.
Hey yo.
Hello.
What's poppin'? How we doing today?
I don't know. Feel like today's just been kind of like I'm tired, you know? I don't know. It's like one day before Friday, like before the weekend. And yeah, I don't know.
Going away this weekend.
Well, isn't that nice? Oh, so no SmackDown breakdown?
Yeah, breaking news, no SmackDown breakdown.
I love how you like just tell me this, but
well, I was gonna tell you tomorrow.
Okay. Well, yeah, all right.
Well, it's the Clock Tower, my best friend's birthday. Invited us all up to his girlfriend's New Hampshire house. We're playing golf, so I'm celebrating his birthday. Which I'm gonna not only miss that, I'm gonna miss Collision. I'm gonna miss SmackDown. So it's a big deal that I'm going up there for him because I'm missing a lot of wrestling because of it. So we're gonna have to watch it all on Monday before Raw. We're gonna have a big.
That's a lot.
That is a lot to catch up on, but it gives me something to do on Monday when I get back.
I guess.
So I'm okay with that. All right, I'm not gonna say I'm very happy with that. I'm gonna say I'm okay with it because the champ doesn't like to get out of his routine. I feel, are you a person like you got a routine going on? And you feel better when you have a routine going on.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like a little difficult when you like work from home, but yeah, I like to do things in a certain way at a certain time for the most part. And then when that gets screwed up, I'm just like anxious, like what? Oh God, like what is going on? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a short circuit in your mind because you're kind of out of sync. It's one thing I've learned to help me feel better mentally is that if you get yourself in a good routine, then you just feel so much better and more confident.
Yeah.
About yourself. Even my stupid routine when I have to go home from work, you shower, eat, you do a little jam sesh. Thank God no one's home because we blast the music. And I've had my parents come home to me just blasting WWE themes. It's like, what? That's Cody Rhodes theme. Just like, whoa! And I'm screaming in the shower. Oh, I'm a delight to live with. I swear.
I know. It was funny. I was like, I told you that I had been looking at tiny homes, and so I was like, oh my gosh, like it's because I saw a House Hunters episode where they were looking for a tiny home, and I was like, oh my gosh, like these are so cheap and they're so cute, and like for someone who would be living by themselves, I'm like that would be perfect for me, right? And so I was saying, I was like, I need to just live in someone's backyard, like buy a tiny house and have it shipped to like Massachusetts. I'll be like, let me just live in your backyard. I mean, and I tweeted that and no one said anything. And I was like, fine, okay. But then I was thinking, I was like, if I moved to Massachusetts, I was like, I would need a roommate or something because I can't afford shit over there. And I was like, I thought of you just because like you're one of the only people. And then I was like, me and Pat would fucking hate each other.
I couldn't.
I feel like we would hate each other living together.
That's why some of my best friends at school, like we didn't live with each other because of that reason, that we're great, out, but when you mix your lifestyles, because if you have the slightest the person who's like the slightest bit off key or off track because of dirt or like a little bit of clutter, I mean, it's just,
well, and I think it's because you and I are like similar in a lot of ways, but we're different in a lot of ways, and you're more like, you have way more energy than me, so I think that would be like one of my biggest things, just like shut up, like calm down. And then you would be like, Sara, why don't you ever leave the house? Like we would be like bickering like an old married couple over stupid stuff like that. And it's like,
I'm telling you, I feel so bad. One of the reasons I feel bad I'm still in the Pitts cave is because I just yell because I'm doing stuff like this. I'm streaming, I'm watching wrestling or Boston sports, so I'm going to react like if someone was here. And I mean, you can hear me from 2 floors up sometimes. So
Yeah.
in the dream house, in the dream Pitts mansion, or Pitts compound, as I call it. I want a man cave the size of like a pool house, just
And
so
then
everyone is okay.
and then a big enough yard so my tiny home can fit
And
in the
then your
back.
tiny home fits in the back.
Hmm. Yeah.
On TT in the back.
Yeah, Auntie T. I know. I
That's
said that today.
incredible.
I said that today. I don't
Hey,
remember why,
yeah.
but I said it to my nephew, and he just looked at me like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, you don't remember that? Okay."
Oh, where we
Like,
moved that.
sorry. I'm sorry, child.
We got a great show for you today, guys. All right. We've been talking a lot about the current product and what's going on in current wrestling, which we're going to kind of kick off with today. But Money in the Bank's starting up in what is it, like 3 weeks now?
Yeah, something like that.
3 weeks. And we haven't really done a show like that where we kind of just go over the pay-per-view in a grand scheme, not
Hmm.
just like talking about its history, the fun matches from it, what we like,
We
dislike,
haven't
all
done
that.
that, yeah, in a while.
So I thought, why not bring it back, and then next week start with the stuff that's cooking in the the back. So before we get to the Money in the Bank stuff, okay, we have to kick off the Thursday show, my favorite segment of the week.
Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud, Sarah.
I searched a picture. I was searching for a picture of like Roman Reigns or something like that the other day, and a picture of Adam Rose popped up, and I was like, "This doesn't fit at all." I
He
was
looks so different now. He's like jacked.
No, well, this was an old picture. This was like
Oh,
Adam Rose in WWE, but I was like really confused. I was like, when did they ever cross paths to make this image relevant to a image search of Roman Reigns? But anyway,
okay. This just needs to be said because I've been thinking this, and I'm happy someone has the same thought because it basically is. But how amazing that you can have the same word be two different chants in wrestling. That's why wrestling is fucking awesome. That's why I love it. Who else said something? Also King Razor. Yeah, you could just answer this one, Sarah.
Sarah, from your perspective, were you offended by Randy Orton RKOing people? No, I wasn't. I think we kind of talked about this. I don't know how many weeks ago it was when we talked about the possibility of bringing back intergender wrestling. And I always enjoyed that because it was, it was cool to see like China get involved and stuff. And I think, I don't know, I wasn't offended by it because it's also just like professional wrestling. You know what I mean? Like it's all scripted. He's not like, if that was a real dude in real life, like just going out and injuring women for fun, I would be like, what the like that would be
Then
weird.
your strong reaction hits.
But yeah, I mean, because it's like it's scripted, it's not real. I mean, and a lot of that came during Bald era Randy Orton, which was like
that's an evil villain.
That was an iconic Randy Orton era. So to me, it's like he had to be doing that kind of stuff because it made most people hate him more. You know what I mean? Like his feud with Triple H and Stephanie.
When he slithers over.
I know
and then like lays the kiss, but it's not. It's like a really evil, just diabolical one where he's doing it to really get under your skin. Like it's the little details like that, which is kind of gross as it sounds, but
yeah,
that's what makes it that much better.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know. I felt like it just played very well into what he was doing at the time. So I didn't get offended by it. So
all right. So we got everyone here. Yes, he was a menace. 05 to 09 was a goddamn menace.
I know. I feel like that would be an interesting topic to like do a deep dive into, like trying to figure out who maybe had an equivalent or a better heel era, like heel run than Randy Orton at that time. Because I mean, I think that like everybody hated Randy Orton, and it was because he was so good at it. And part of it is because he was kind of an asshole in real life. So that was very easy for him. So
very easy.
But I don't know, it's just one of those things that it's like there aren't many wrestlers that you can think of that could be that good at a character, specifically being a bad guy for that extended of time, you know?
Yeah, it's awesome, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Rosebud of the week. What is our favorite thing? Sarah, I'll let you start it because you got a smile on your face.
Yes.
Let's let it shine.
Finn Balor calling out Seth Rollins in the ring. That was just my favorite moment because it's been a while since we've heard Finn on the mic and cutting an extended promo without any interference from the rest of Judgment Day or whatever. And I just feel like this laid some really great groundwork for him versus Seth, because it very easily just could have been like the easy way of, oh, I'm irritated because you involved me in all this lead up that you were having with Damian Priest for your main event match, and I want to be next in line for the title, and that could have been it. There could have been like no substance to it at all. But the fact that he went out there and was referencing their match for the Universal Championship and how that has impacted his life and his career since then, and just, I don't know, their match is going to be so good. So I'm really glad that we have more going into this match than just like, oh yeah, let's just do this at Money in the Bank, and then nothing really, there's like no details to go along with it. It's just a match that's like, yeah, you're excited to see, but it might be like a one-off and then you're done. It's like, that doesn't seem what this is going to be. So I was really excited about that.
It's does exactly what you said, but also you can throw Priest in there.
Yeah.
And you can maybe at SummerSlam do a Judgment Day handicap triple threat type of thing.
Or, well, they also, hinted at that tension in Judgment Day. And although we don't want to see any member leave or a breakup, they could use that, as a storyline at SummerSlam. So if it did set up for like a triple threat, it could legitimately be like maybe Finn and Damian are fighting for their spot in the Judgment Day, or they're feuding because whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want that to happen, but again, it's another possible
or they can
scenario.
just add them. They can just add.
Just add JD McDonough by now. Come on now.
Just do it.
We all have expected it, okay?
Yeah.
We're waiting. We're waiting for the overload of Irishmen. Okay.
Exactly. All right.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I need it.
My Rosebud of the week, it's AEW again.
I almost had one for that too, even though I don't watch AEW, but the end, I was really excited.
It was unbelievable.
I watched it a couple times because
you real respect's real. Game
well, and I told you he's kind of a hottie, so I just want to check it out and just be like, what's going on?
Which one are you referring to?
Will
Ospreay? Yeah. That's what I'm. So that culmination of the show, that's what I'm most excited about for Forbidden Door. I was gonna mention this in the 3 count, but I'm so excited for Forbidden Door because it's the day after my birthday. Okay. You got probably the one type of wrestling I would say where it's different. I don't like it better than WWE. I don't like WWE. It's just, you have 2 kids, you love them both equally.
Yeah. But for their own distinct, unique,
and one, you need one with the other.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, is that because WWE, it's its own product, its own brand, it does its thing, but sometimes you want to explore what's going on at Pizza Hut. I don't know why that was the first reaction.
Well, yeah, because it's one of those things where like WWE does things a certain way because that's what works for them, but that's not what's going to work everywhere else. So other professional wrestling companies have to figure out their identity and how things work for them and what is working for their audience and working for their product. Like it's the WWE way of doing things wouldn't necessarily do well at AEW. So it's like there is slight differences, but it's all the same at the end of the day, if that makes any sense. It's professional wrestling.
Yeah. And
it's sports entertainment.
when you have this match start the show, I was like, oh, okay, how do you go up from here?
Yeah.
But obviously, we know the ending. MJF and Cole going to a draw, I was blown. It takes a lot to get me to be jaw dropping, like, wow,
Yeah.
got me, great job. And to have it, so I don't, did you see it online or anything, the clip of it, or what happened? Do you want me to explain it?
No.
Okay.
No, I saw something about, I don't know, I saw something about Adam
So
Cole, but
they have a back and forth. I'm not going to go to the whole match. We don't have enough time for that. But they go back and forth the entire match. And then MJF goes to, use that ring, gets caught. Adam Cole hits him with something. And then he goes up for the Panama Sunrise into the kick. 1, 2, ding, ding, ding. 3, the time limit. And I
oh,
think why I loved it so much too, because I watched it back this today,
mhm.
is if you really listen to Taz's commentary, if they knew or not, I don't know, but their reaction to going to the time limit, they actually are floored.
Yeah.
Taz going, oh no way. No way. Exactly how we would. It it makes you that much more invested. And then for Adam Cole to say 5 more minutes, and
Yeah,
MJF
that okay, that's
scurry
what I
out of it.
heard. Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then him scurry out of the ring, go back to the backstage area, and then a couple segments later, getting announced that he's going to face Tanahashi at Forbidden Door, and him going, "No, I'm all set. Thanks. I'm no one, no name who's not a part of this company is going to challenge me." Brilliant heel work, and then him
Mhm.
saying, "Oh, it wouldn't be the first time I no showed a booking." Like, it's so good, and you need that other product to elevate WWE. So the fact that both companies are performing on all cylinders, I'm a very happy camper right now. I'm a really happy camper as a wrestling fan, and I can't
Excellent.
wait to introduce Soar to professional wrestling, because I love getting those texts. Those questions are awesome.
Mhm.
So, what is our lemon, Sarah? What was our lemon of the week?
For me, it is Charlotte Flair being inserted into the women's championship on SmackDown again. I'm just tired of it. I'm over it. Bernard and I were talking about it briefly. I actually have to message him back on TikTok, but he was saying that he feels like this is similar to the build up for the Mania main event between Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda. And I really hope that he's wrong because I don't want Charlotte to win the championship. I'm seeing so many more people are like expressing how they're just tired of this. It's not just like me saying it or some sporadic fans. It's like most WWE fans are just like, are you kidding me? I mean, even to the point of Charlotte addressing it with her tweet of the Triple H video.
I'm gonna tweet
Yeah.
my
And it's
feelings.
like I understand why she's saying that, but at the same time, it's like, no, girl, like this is really how people feel, and this is why you never get over. This is why people can't stand you. This is why you don't have the same level of love from the fans as like Becky Lynch does, because like she organically got over and she's not constantly in the title picture. Where I couldn't name a single feud that Charlotte has had that didn't involve the championship.
I think
And
you looked
so
that up.
I know I need to, but I feel like
I think you
I don't
did,
know.
and you were right. Yeah, like it's
But
been a while.
the thing is too is something that people have been saying is the fans are going to revolt
Yeah,
if this continues, and it's not going to take long for people to start cheering for Asuka over Charlotte, or booing Charlotte even in a match against
yeah.
Bianca, because it's like obviously we've talked about that there's this potential that Bianca's turning heel, but I don't think that they might not be able to get that opportunity, because I think that they might have to just go with what the reactions are, and Charlotte might end up having to be heel again because people hate her that much. And that's the thing. You have to be heel because people hate you, but it's not because they hate your character. It's because they hate what you're doing. No, she is, and that's the thing.
Lemon.
I said it when we talked about her on the SmackDown breakdown. Like, she's incredible in the ring. She's amazing. One of the best women, if not the best woman to ever, wrestle in WWE. Like, hands down. Like, again, a debate, a conversation. But the way that they constantly book her is insane to me. It makes no sense. And there's a reason why, like, we talked about during her last run where they were trying to push her as a baby face when she was the SmackDown Women's Champion, and we were like, this doesn't work. Like, she's not good at being a baby face. No. And it's like, yeah, because of who she is as a heel, that's literally like who she is as a person. That's like the ego maniac. That's how she has to be in real life. And I hate saying that, but people would really want to cheer for you more and like support you more if you had some sort of humility to be like, okay, like, it's not my time. Or like, I was just watching an interview with John Cena. It was just a clip with, he was talking to Sam Roberts, right?
Yeah, Sam Roberts, yeah.
And he was talking to him. He asked him about the match from, like, I don't know, it was like 2013 or something, when he was against Lesnar, and the entire match at SummerSlam was him just like suplexing him.
I've seen this clip too. Yeah, explain. Yeah. It's awesome.
And Cena was saying that, when Brock is on, like, in a match with you, like, he'll do anything. Like, if he's down with you and whatever, he's down for anything. And Cena said, well, that was like the same year that he broke the Undertaker's streak. And he's like, so me going into a match 50-50 with Lesnar made no sense, because then it would delegitimize his win against the Undertaker. So he's like, I went into that match and I was like, it's not my night. It's Lesnar's night. Let him throw me around the ring, injure me, do whatever, make him shine. And I'm going to take a back seat because it's not my time right now. And I'm like, that's the mentality that we're not seeing from Charlotte Flair. Charlotte just always wants to be in the title picture, because now that it's Triple H, honey, you could very easily say, no, I don't think I should be in the title picture right now. Like, I think I'd rather be working with this person, or I want to have matches with Bianca, but I would rather that, it was in a different time, or wasn't for the title, like, but she's not doing that. It's not like Charlotte Flair doesn't have pull. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, no, she doesn't have pull.
Yeah, not at all. So that's the thing, is that's when I start to question it. That's why I start to question her, because we know how these things go backstage, not first-handedly, obviously, but like, there's no way that she couldn't have voiced her opinion and being like, nah, maybe I should, take a back seat for now. Like, I'm happy to be back, but I think there's some other girls I could work with. But instead she's like, yep, nope, put me back in the title picture. And like Bernard said, it's fine. They want to make her break Rick's record. Okay, but was Rick's record like this, where he was literally in the title picture over and over and over and over and over again? You know what I mean? Like,
Sarah, I hate to break it to you, but Rick Flair, not to you, but to the peeps, the 16-time championship record Ric Flair holds is not all WWE titles.
No, and that's why they started to cut they cut Charlotte down, because they were counting her NXT reigns. And then people were like, well, no. I mean, even hers still includes like the Divas Championship. That's and it's like still, like, if you don't have memorable reigns, then why are we talking about how many you've had?
Yeah, because I totally agree.
Because we talk about Trish Stratus. Trish is one of the best women to ever walk in WWE, right? She's a legend. She's a Hall of Famer. She was a champion 6 times, and one of them was her last match before she retired, when she won the title.
Yeah.
Like, are we really saying that Charlotte is millions of miles ahead of her to the point of needing to like triple how many times that she was champion? Like, to me, it's like, no, she's had 1 day reigns, 1 month reigns, 1 week reigns. Like, that's not impressive.
Yeah, Charlotte and Sasha were passing it around a little bit.
Yeah, it was like every month they were changing. So that's what I mean. It's like, I don't want to harp on Charlotte, because like I said, right now she has one of the best matches of the year. But I would be so much more interested in watching her if she were being a team player and putting other girls over and trying to get involved in things that didn't like focus on herself, because like, that's the whole point of wrestling. And part of it is like, if you guys haven't watched a bunch of Scott Hall interviews, who talks about like his time during WCW, whatever, throughout wrestling, he always talks about how like he like because people are like, you never won the world championship, like why do you like, isn't that terrible? And he doesn't really care, because he's like, it's not about that, it's about like being entertaining and doing what's best for you and for your opponent, putting this guy over. Like, he didn't give a fuck if he was gonna go out and lose, as long as he did a great match and put the other guy over.
I
So
mean,
like,
yeah.
I always have like this, I guess it's an old school mentality, I don't know, it's just like, I totally
No,
respect what Scott says, and I feel like she doesn't, that's just not her at all. As I just went on a friggin' rant for like 15
yeah,
minutes,
no,
but
great job. Great.
sorry.
Now it's time to step down from the soapbox.
Sorry.
Let the champ get on his, because my lemon is a little bit of the same, but
Mm.
for AEW in a way. I'm gonna miss Collision, and I'm not gonna be there. I already mentioned a little bit, and this is my lemon because I don't care. To be honest, I'm more upset about missing SmackDown, like really upset about missing SmackDown over Collision, where it's the return of CM Punk and it's him and
Yeah.
FTR against Samoa Joe and Bullet Club Gold, and Miro's back in action. And I just, here's the thing. I love the concept of Collision. I think it's great. But Saturday night at 8 o'clock it doesn't work in this era, in this climate.
A
And
lot of
on
people
top of
go out
that,
on Saturday. So, yeah.
I
Especially
mean,
like their key demographic, they still are going out to the bar, out to the clubs, like hanging out because it's the weekend. But
it would be better if it was Sunday nights. I know you can't really do that because of pay-per-views. I mean, they had a great thing going with Dark. Maybe you just swap
you could
that.
also even do it earlier in the day. Do it at like 5 on Saturday, like 5 p.m. Like, even that's a better, because people aren't really going out at that time. It's like an hour
No,
or
you're
two
the
later. You know
pregame.
what I mean?
You're the pregame.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Brilliant.
like, it's not that bad.
It's not. And I don't know. I just I see a kind of the vision of where TK is going, where I feel like he wants to have his own 3
Yeah.
separate brands
Yeah.
and have a draft in the next year and a half. And
Mhm.
then, kind of go in that direction where why you have you just why you try doing that when you had some with Dark and Dark Elevation, and you already have Ring of Honor.
Mhm.
Why isn't Ring of Honor getting that spot?
Yeah.
Ring of Honor should be the 3rd brand.
Well, and especially if you believed in it so much that you went out of your way to purchase it.
And they
You know
do
what I mean?
pay-per-views, so I don't want to throw,
No, but
you right
there's
there,
some
but
really great talent in Ring of Honor that you should be featuring.
yeah.
So,
Why
especially
would
since they can cross over to AEW. So,
and the fact that you could say that you put Ring of Honor on national television,
yeah,
that would be
maybe
that's the
they weren't into it. Maybe the network wasn't into it yet. I don't know.
yeah, you're probably right there, because the network execs kind of suck when it comes
Yeah.
to wrestling.
Yeah.
They don't like to use their imagination. We'll say, just a blanket statement.
Yeah.
Uh, and they're very by the numbers. What's going to make the money? All this, where they don't see the bigger picture. Where you throw it on TV here, but what you make up for it in that watch, people are going to DVR it. They're going to watch it again. You're going to buy merch, or you're going to buy this ticket, or you're going to do something. It all works out in your favor. So,
Yeah.
that is my lemon of the week easily, because everything else is going pretty well in the wrestling world. Wrestling Open, I just got a notification that's on. Well, my guy, the Victorious BRG. Get this, Sarah. This is also a lemon of the week. Okay, BRG is supposed to face Dirty Dango
Yes.
for his Let's Wrestle Championship.
Mhm.
Dude got injured.
Who did?
Dango couldn't make it.
Oh, jeez.
Couldn't make it, so he fought. I don't know who he fought. But it was someone else. But it was a good match. And I ended up not going because realized that New Bedford is like 2 hours from me, or an hour and a half. Thought it was like 40 minutes.
It's
It
so crazy how Massachusetts is like such a small state, but like something like, I I've heard of where you live and where New Bedford is and stuff, but like I don't have any recollection of like how far they are because I was so young when we moved that like I didn't drive, but like I'm like, yeah, New Bedford's not that far, but like I guess it is for you,
It really is. I didn't think, and now especially driving in the city more of my job, you realize that Boston is so big. I mean,
Yeah.
like Somerville, part of Boston, and that's out there in the outskirts of Boston. Then you have Back Bay, you have Southie.
I want to live in Back Bay so bad.
Back Bay is wicked nice.
I know, but you have to be
rich.
rich. I know, but it's just because of the brownstones. Like that's like my
brownstone
dream
is
house.
really cool.
I want to live in one of those so bad. Should we try and get to some of the comments? I'm just trying to look.
Go for it.
Richard says Charlotte Flair being inserted will lead to a Bianca Belair feud for SummerSlam, which that's fine, but I still think they're gonna have the title involved because I don't know how they wouldn't do that, because the ideal situation is that Asuka retains and then those two are like, but like we're gonna have to see what they do with Bianca because she still deserves a rematch. Nathaniel says, how would you feel if Becky wins Money in the Bank? I'd be kind of disappointed, honestly. The Kingdom of Razor says if Bianca does turn heel, it will be similar to Becky Lynch at SummerSlam 2018. Are we saying that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I'd say it's a good thing. No, yeah. It's a good thing.
RJ Jr. says, I heard on Twitter that Rhea Ripley might lose the title to Ronda since Rhea isn't doing anything with the title. I don't want it, but Rhea has done nothing with the title and they love building up Ronda. I hope that's not true because,
Where are you reading that? Buckcrack Sports?
I don't know. I'm hoping that's not true because it's also not Rhea's fault that she's
cry.
not doing. I know.
I'll fucking cry.
I know.
Okay.
Let's see. The Kingdom of Razor says if Charlotte wins, I want to throw trash in the ring like they did back in the 90s. Oh my god, that iconic clip of Scott Hall when he got hit with the beer in his head, and then he just like fixes his hair and is like, oh my god, I love that clip so much. It's just great, Yeah, he looked really good that night, so that's why I have a good recollection. David says tiny house or brownstone. Are we being serious right now? Like $150,000 tiny home or like a $4 million brownstone in historic Boston?
Overlooking the city in the nice village area. I have some clients over there.
We can get back to some of the comments. Oh wait, Kingdom of Razor says Scott Hall was unselfish, but he really did deserve to be WWE champion. Or WCW. I mean, I agree, but he goes down in history as one of the best Intercontinental Championship champions of all time, plus one of the best matches of all time with Shawn Michaels. So I mean, at least he's got some really great moments.
Hot debate or hot take, dish it out in the comment section for this, and we'll get to it after the Money in the Bank segment. Razor Ramon would have been a world champion if he stayed with Vince McMahon instead of going over. Razor Ramon would have been world champion at some point, main eventing WrestleMania.
Is that really a hot take?
I think it is. I don't know. No one talks about it.
I have to think about that one. We need to move on, so that's why I'm saying.
Yeah, we do need to move on because we have Money in the Bank.
Money.
Sarah, fun fact: the champ's first pay-per-view back into wrestling. I have to specify that. My first pay-per-view was SummerSlam. My first pay-per-view back into becoming one again was Money in the Bank, where John Cena won the undisputed. Or did he win Money in the Bank? Or no, he won the title. He won the title.
John Cena won Money in the Bank, didn't he? Because isn't that the meme of him where someone like blows his head up into like looking like a monkey or something?
Yeah, and he's like that. Like that. Yeah.
My poor baby.
He won that, but he won the title when I went, because this Money in the Bank, I'm going to allude to it at some point. So, but it was the Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Kane comes out.
Oh my
Seth Rollins won Money in the Bank that year. Oh, okay. Wow. That's a hell of a year. It's a hell of a year for me.
Yeah,
to be
we'll
a
talk
wrestling
about it
fan.
because I
Well,
also
we're gonna
have.
talk about it. So yeah, as you see in the banner below us, what is Money in the Bank? For anyone who's living under a rock or even in a cave,
Or you're
and just
sore and you just don't know.
and you so exactly. This is me informing peeps like Sore. Money in the Bank is one of the most ingenious concepts I would say in wrestling history, created by Chris Jericho in 2005-4 era, right around WrestleMania 21, where the match itself debuted at WrestleMania 21 in Hollywood. And Sarah, could you name every participant in that match?
Yeah, because I wrote it down earlier.
Oh, nice. Just informed me.
Chris Jericho, Kane, Chris Benoit, Edge,
Benoit.
Shelton Benjamin, and Christian. Right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Well, you paused for a
Honestly,
second. I was like, what did I do?
no, I was trying to get it right. I was trying to go
Oh,
faster than
okay.
you in my
Because I
head.
wrote it down as one of the best matches, one of the best Money in
Okay.
the Bank matches.
I love rewatching that match, not around Money in the Bank time, but WrestleMania time, because
Mhm.
that's where it originally started, Sarah. It was one of the premier matches of WrestleMania, from WrestleMania 21 to WrestleMania 26, I think was the last one at that event. Yeah, they didn't do it in 27, so 26 was the last one. And then it became its own pay-per-view.
Yep.
This was in the era where it was a match was basically turned into a pay-per-view with Hell in a Cell, TLC, Money in the Bank, Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, when they started to get lazy and just named the pay-per-views after the stipulation.
They named it they named a pay-per-view Fatal 4-Way.
I know. I'm just like,
That's
that
terrible.
sounds sexual. You know?
Fatal 4-Way.
Oh my god. Okay,
Coming
anyway.
up on Lifetime.
I really miss I love when Elimination Chamber was No Way Out. That name should have never changed. Like names like that were so sick. Like there were
What's wrong with
years
No Way
where
Out?
where they did come up with, like Great Balls of Fire. Oh my god, I did I go to that one? No, I went to what was the one that was something lane? Fast
Fastlane.
Lane? I went to
Yeah,
Fast
Fastlane.
Lane, I think. Because I think it was in Seattle. Right? Yeah. I
Definitely
don't
could
think
have
I went to
checked
Great
that.
Balls of Fire. But like some of those names I was just like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? But some of
No
those
Way Out.
older names, they just never should have changed it because I feel like they only did because they had the names for so long. They were like, oh, we need to change. And I'm like,
And you can make money off it.
No Way Out made sense. Like you didn't have to guess what they were talking about. So,
Agreed. I like I like the era better
yeah.
when they were more original with
Yes.
their pay-per-view names.
Yes.
Money in the Bank, however, it teeters on the fence for me a little bit, where yes, I would like to see it at WrestleMania. I feel like that is the perfect place for it,
Mhm.
because that's the other rule of it. Forgot to mention that you have a year to cash in. The winner of the match gets a contract for a title match whenever, and we
Mhm.
mean whenever they want, they can cash in, and they have up to a year to do so. So if you
Mhm.
did it WrestleMania, I feel like it's a way where you can build up somebody. Maybe have someone like really just nonsensical winning it, and then just build them up for a year so they can kind of ease their way into a main event championship match. I don't know. But the pay-per-view itself has brought some, I would say, legendary moments over the years. And not only just the match itself. We're talking about the pay-per-view. I mean, the first 5-star match, and I think like 10 years or something
Yeah.
for WWE happened at Money in the Bank when Punk took his ball and went home with the WWE title. So it's one of my favorite pay-per-view match types, whatever. And I'm excited for this because we need something, a pay-per-view like this before SummerSlam, to
Mhm.
really hype us up for that. We'll say like all-star game type of vibe.
Yeah. Well, and this is a stipulation that we don't see that much. It's basically at Money in the Bank that we see a ladder match. That those don't happen at all anymore, and those used to be really common, especially in the tag team division. We've seen TLC matches constantly, ladder matches constantly, and now they basically reserve it only for Money in the Bank. So I think that's exciting because it's something to look forward to. You know,
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
unfortunate that we're probably not going to see Kofi Kingston this year, but
You know,
I mean, I think we'll get into this year's, but I'm excited about the people so far.
I do like I like the card. I like the participants in both matches.
Yep.
Yeah, I maybe wait. They're adding one more in SmackDown, correct, for women's?
I thought it was going to be on Raw, but they haven't announced like a qualifying match on SmackDown yet, so I'm not sure. I thought it was going to be on Raw because they did like two or three women's matches on SmackDown. So I thought that they would do the other on like the other three on Raw. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not either. I thought so. All right, so we introduced what Money in the Bank is. Now let's talk about what we love about the Money in the Bank ladder match. I've been talking, Sarah. You take it. I've rambled on.
Just like what we love overall.
What do you love? Yeah, about you can be as specific as a certain spot or whatever in a match, or just a general love of the match or pay per view itself.
Yeah, so I think I just like ladder matches. I think part of it is just the nostalgia of it, because if you are a kid that grew up watching the Attitude Era for the most part, then ladder matches were very common. As I just said, TLC matches were very common. So it kind of like brings you back to some of those really great matches from your childhood. And I think that it's kind of, I mean, SummerSlam is like the mania, or it's supposed to be like the mania of the summer. And so I think that Money in the Bank is, like you said, like a really good precursor to that. And it's action filled. Basically, you know that it's going to be like really good matches, or they should be really good matches, because last year's women's match was a little rough. But yeah, yeah. So I like that aspect because we don't get to see it often. And then I also like that it kind of can have, you can kind of see like stars in the making that are made throughout those matches, whether it's from just their performance in the match, even if they lose, that can have a lasting impression on the audience, or whoever wins and maybe they cash in that night, like the whole Summer of Live last year, even other ones that we'll talk about, like our favorite cash-ins. But I think that's one of the aspects that's really cool, which I think is going to be probably one of the dominant parts of this year, because of who are in the men's and women's matches. They're all, for the most part, never been champion or never even been in the title picture. And I think that that's really exciting because, fans for the most part are talking about, they want to see new people as champion. It's always the same people. And why don't you push these people? And that's exactly what it looks like they're doing right now. It's what we've been begging for years. So I think that they're going to deliver, and it's going to be exciting to see, like, this could be the catalyst that kind of like pushes someone to the top. And I think that's really cool to be able to watch someone, from like the beginning to getting elevated. I think that's really cool.
And that's what its original purpose was to give
Right.
someone who was in that upper mid card feud or talent crop, to give them that chance, to just give them a title reign or put them in that title picture, see how they do, and then if it works out, boom, you have a star in the making, another face of your company. And if it doesn't work out, well, we've seen what happens when it doesn't work out. You just go on to the next year. Wrestling fans, for the most part, have a pretty bad short-term memory, so they play into that very much.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's nice when someone like that wins it. And my favorite things about the match, not only that, what you said, I agree there, but I just love the match for it. You get a hodgepodge of different superstars, and I think this year, now that they did the draft and you have two separate brands, it's one Money in the Bank, and it's three guys from SmackDown, three from Raw, whatever the number is. There's no, the Raw Money in the Bank and the SmackDown Money in the Bank. Like, it's one. So you're going to get these quasi fantasy matchups between brands that
Mhm.
fans are going to go crazy about. And you get guys in the ring that you dream about their chemistry and seeing it come to life. And as you said, you get to notice a better, other guys or other wrestlers that wouldn't get that spotlight. Sheldon Benjamin, I would say, is on the Mount Rushmore of Money in the Bank participants.
Mhm.
That man, to me, invented the springboard ladder, moonsault, senton, whatever you want to call it. Like he did that move, and then the next year was in a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you would not know who Sheldon Benjamin is, which low key sucks, without the Money in the Bank ladder match.
It's
So
crazy the things that they're willing to do in these matches too. I think it's like the unpredictability factor is another exciting component of the match because after you've seen a handful or more of these matches, you think you've seen everything that they could possibly do, and you're like, you watch the next one, you're like, nope, that's something I've never seen before. So and I think that's what is exciting about the women's too, because the women's Money in the Bank ladder match is fairly new. I would say it's still like kind of in its infancy when you compare it to when the men started. And so that is even more intriguing to watch because we haven't had years and years and years of women in ladder matches, never mind a Money in the Bank match. And so I feel like you don't know what's going to happen there. And you see how it's almost like you kind of realize how big of a missed opportunity it was for them to take so long for them to introduce it for the women, because I mean, some of those things that the women have done over these years are absolutely insane, and the fact that they were willing to do it just proves to you that these are girls, and even the girls before them would have put on bangers if you let them and have a match like that. And it just took them however many years to
yeah,
finally get it, but at least we're there, and it's exciting that we get 2 ladder matches per night now instead of just the
guaranteed to.
men's.
It's a guaranteed 2 ladder matches. You're not gonna find that another pay-per-view. So it's nice in that regard. The action is just all night long action.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we love. But what do we hate about it?
One thing, since we were just talking about the women's, I hate how horrible most of the women's cash-ins have been, how short that they allow the women to hold the briefcase, and how unsuccessful they have been when cashing in, or even with their reign after that. Like, it's really disappointing when you think about even just last year. It was so good to see Liv and just the raw emotion that she had and Michael Cole had. It was difficult to like not feel the same, even if you weren't like the biggest fan of Liv. It was just like, it was really cool to finally see a girl get a shot that she hadn't had before. And then the fact that she went on to beat Ronda Rousey, of all people, to become champion later that night.
Yeah.
Insane. Like, and her reign should have been better than what it was. And it was cut short, and they just didn't know what to do with her. And so it's like, and that was just last year. And that was, I mean, that was still under Vince, or a little bit
That was the last pay-per-view before Vince.
Yeah. So it's like, it's possible that this year will be different, but I would really like to see specifically whatever woman wins to maybe not cash in the same night. Maybe hold on to it for a while, kind of like what Carmella did, where Carmella was like holding on to that thing for, it was like almost a year, I think.
200 days, 200 something
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, and it's like we should do something like that with the women, because we've seen that so many times with the men, and it just kind of is another aspect where you're like, okay, so why is there such a difference between the male winner and the female winner? Like, why are the women rushed to cash in and lose or whatever, and then their reigns suck? Why is it that the men get to hold on to it, and then it's like a huge part of their character and their storyline for the next year? Like, I would like to see some sort of improvement in that aspect for sure.
I couldn't agree more. That's my biggest flaw with it right now, currently, is that you don't have a Miss Money in the Bank. You have a Money in the Bank winner who then shows up on Raw as champion.
Mm-hmm.
And as great as the Liv story is, that's one where I'll let that be alone and like, whatever, It's but like Bailey was an hour and something. I mean, Nikki Ash, really?
Yeah.
Why do we have her? I don't like that because you need the Money in the Bank to be kind of a little bit of a stepping stone before you get to the championship and have you feud with other up and comers or whatnot to get you to that point. I hate when they rush it. It only makes sense in a few instances where you rush it, where it
Mm-hmm.
feels right and you go with your gut, but you don't need to go with your gut every time. Stop and think about, the bigger picture.
Well, and it's in some cases it feels like it's a prime reason for them to have mid card titles for the women. Because if you are going to have a girl that you feel like she should be the Money in the Bank winner, but maybe she's not exactly ready to be champion. Well, maybe people are hating on the fact of Austin Theory cashing in for the U.S. title, but I mean, his opportunity, it was the only thing that made sense, obviously, because if he couldn't cash in on Roman. But
Right.
there are instances where it's like, okay, if one of the women did that, then what's the problem? Like if the opportunity strikes and it makes the most sense, then why not? But I guess that's not in the plans right now. I even just recently saw something that they had denied, like the idea of introducing more titles, which I think, given that they can't even book the women's tag team
Yeah,
division correctly, introducing more is ridiculous. But I do think that it should be a possibility in the future, because I think then we're talking complete equal divisions, and then there's so many more directions that opens for them when it comes to women. Just like what we were saying, more women need to be put into tag teams as legitimate tag teams, and we need to stop saying that every single woman that comes through NXT is a star and is going to be a solo star, because that's not how it works. Some people are just not ever going to be bigger than a mid card, and opening up opportunities by giving them a mid card title then allows you to have more storylines, but also bring in more women that can compete and have really good matches and rivalries, etc. But
yeah.
hopefully in the future,
Hopefully, there's a day that it will come. I just don't think that day is soon.
soon. Yeah.
Thanks to the tag titles kind of being
Yeah.
cursed. Low key.
Yeah.
Low key.
Yep.
Best match. What was the best Money in the Bank match in your eyes? In your eyes. Your eyes.
Well, we already talked about Mania 21, which was the first Money in the
That's one of
Bank.
my favorites.
That's
Hands
one of the
down.
best ones. I also liked Money in the Bank 2014. Rollins, Ambrose, RVD.
That's the one I was at.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kofi Kingston, Jack
Yeah,
Swagger,
it was
Ziggler.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
my favorite. That one was so awesome.
Rereading that, like, participants, I was like, dude, I want to watch this.
Do you have it up?
Like,
Who is it?
what?
Do you have it up, the participants?
Yeah, the ones I was just reading, Rollins,
Yeah.
Ambrose, RVD.
Yeah, Rollins, Ambrose, RVD.
Kofi Kingston, Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler.
That's incredible.
So that's why I'm like, when I read that, I was
Oh.
like, I want to rewatch that, because you kind of forget about like who were in the matches. You kind of might remember obviously who won or what they went on to do when they cashed in, and then you kind of forget. Like this one, I forgot about Money in the Bank 2011. Wade Barrett, Justin Gabriel, and Heath Slater. It was like, what?
Wait,
Versus
say
Kane,
that again?
Wade Barrett, Justin Gabriel, Heath Slater, Kane, Sin Cara, Daniel Bryan, Cody Rhodes, and Sheamus. This was Money in the Bank in 2011. And it was because they were having the Nexus. Was it Nexus or whatever they were after Nexus?
It's a new day. No, it's not. That's not the.
No, that was
What's Nexus theme?
I don't remember.
I was taking my hiatus during this, so.
Well, that was 2011, so it's possible. But yeah, I would say that those are some pretty good ones.
Through the unknown, we live to be all the misery.
I didn't like Nexus really, but I did meet them at SummerSlam Access. So
Nexus shouldn't have got buried. They should not have been buried.
Except for Heath Slater, who's not looking at my photo, and I was like, I fucking hate you.
Rude ass.
Yeah. And then I had Money in the Bank 2016. Also, Alberto Del Rio, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Dean Ambrose.
Oh, that was a really good one, especially that promo before when they're all on the ladders, talking,
all just chilling. Yeah.
I love that promo. That was a good one. WrestleMania 22 deserves another, some shout out as well. That's one of my favorites when Matt Hardy superplexes Ric Flair off a ladder. Incredible.
What is Ric Flair doing? That's what I want to know. Why?
Probably wrestling his last match in a few
for the 18th time.
for his
his
return.
18th retirement match.
Dude does not quit. It's incredible.
Yeah.
This could be a controversial topic depending on who you ask. Sarah, I want to know what your thoughts are before I give mine.
Best cash.
I know what yours is.
It's easy. Seth Rollins WrestleMania 31 over Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and Dolph Ziggler after WrestleMania 28 on Alberto Del Rio. Easily.
Yeah, that is the two that really stick out. But Rollins is one. I want to just make that known to the people. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think the difference is first of all, the set at WrestleMania 31 was absolutely killer. Absolutely. So him running out was sick. Secondly, this was towards the end of Seth Rollins having the partial blonde in his hair, which was an era. I think the timing was what makes it better because it wasn't even at the end of the match. It was like during the match that he came out. It was the fact that he did it over Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. It's the fact that when he went back up with the championship that he swung that shit like he used to. Like that, I think it's just all of that makes it like number one. I think with Ziggler, it was just it's what we've been talking about, and they're not quite there. We're not quite there yet, but it's what we've been saying. What WWE needs to do with LA Knight is you just need to go where their fans are telling you to go, and that was what they did with Dolph Ziggler, because it was like Ziggler was so over at that time. It was like you have to go where the kettle is hot, and the fact that is one that I think I'll forever hear in my head, the crowd's reaction to when he won, and even AJ and Big E being just in complete awe, almost as emotional as Ziggler was. It's like I get goosebumps just thinking about it. It's just so cool.
I listened to his interview with Chris Van Fleet about it.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to cash in at WrestleMania before, he was supposed to cash in, be the first one to do it at Mania. But I forget if he decided or they decided it to be the next night because they believe that it would have been too predictable. Of course he's gonna cash in at Mania because if you look at that match, it was pretty lackluster. It really was.
I
mean,
Del Rio I was gonna say
Swagger.
Alberto Del Rio was in the match. I think that tells you everything. So
and it would not have that was a better moment. I agree there. And he took all his time. He wanted this is why I love interviews like this, is you learn that he wanted to get the shit kicked out of him and keep kicking out.
Yeah, he said that he didn't want it to be that he came in and just super kicked him or whatever and then did the pin 1, 2, 3. He was like, no, I want people to think that I don't have a chance to win this. And he wanted Alberto to actually fight back, which again, this is what I was saying when we were talking about Charlotte, is there are moments that are bigger than you, that it's the whole point is for the audience. And it was had that moment gone the way that he didn't want it to go, where he just super kicks, or whatever, zigzags Alberto and then wins it automatically, I don't know that we would have gotten that same reaction or that we would be talking about it right now as one of the best cash-ins. I think that it was the culmination of everything that made you react that way.
Oh, for sure. 1,000%. After I listened to that, it made so much sense to do that there. And that's why I feel bad that I have to put him behind Rollins because that moment was so legendary. But the Seth Rollins WrestleMania cash in, where baffled, befuddled, whatever crazy word you want to put in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was so just mind blowing to me that they were going to do it at Mania. They finally did it, and to do it with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar,
I know.
it's just, and it's that perfect WrestleMania moment that you can't plan. All the stars have to align. You can't plan this moment for a year. You can't plan this moment to happen and all that. It's just everything has to come together, and to have it happen as it did, and then have him go on a decent title reign before his injury,
Mm-hmm.
it was awesome. And I'm gonna go with some comments here because the Kingdom of Razor. I will get to your question you're gonna ask us, but your comment here, kind of threw a wrench into my 1-2 easy because the OG winner of the Money in the Bank, Edge, and his cash in against Cena, how legitimately no one knew. I mean, I think I've listened to an interview where Carlito or somebody said that, oh, this back to Cena, back in how he did all that. So they're going over the finish to the Elimination Chamber match. And Carlito's like, yeah, do you want me to build you up? And you just goes, no, I'm going to roll you over. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm going to roll you over, get a quick pin, and that'll be the match. He's like, really? We're going to go through this? And then that's how the finish. He's like, trust me, it's going to happen. And then it happens, and Edge comes out, and he goes, they're okay. Something's going on. So
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, yes, that is going to kind of be on its own pedestal because it was the first ever. No one knew what the hell the Money in the Bank meant. No one knew if they wanted to or needed to take it serious.
Yeah.
So at that moment itself, the cash-ins following, now that people knew what the concept is, Seth Rollins at Mania, it's just storybook. Storybook.
I agree.
That was the best. Now what's the worst?
I have 3.
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy, isn't it? Like to think that there's been 3 bad winners.
I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of bad winners, but yeah.
Yeah. Baron Corbin.
That's pretty bad.
Damian Sandow.
Don't you dare talk shit about Damian Sandow on this show.
And
I will not allow it. It was not the worst cash in.
Otis
was so much worse.
Damian Sandow was pretty bad though. Like I'm not saying he was very entertaining. I'm not shitting on him as a person or a character. I'm just saying, like, did we really need a Damian Sandow Money in the Bank win?
Well, are you just salty that he took it from Mustache Cody?
No.
Yeah, the bias maybe.
No, hello. I was rooting for Cody when he was with Damian Sandow. So
I know, but
I met Mustache Cody.
Yeah, we gotta bring that. Might grow that.
I've met different eras. I met dashing Cody. I met undashing Cody. I met mustache Cody. Like I'm yet to meet bleached blonde Cody though.
You haven't met Stardust either.
I did not. No, but that was when they started doing SummerSlam out of LA. So.
Oh yeah, they decided their rent was up.
Yeah, there was like 6 years, I think, that they did it in LA, and then they were like, "LOL, we're gonna go to random places like Detroit that just scream summer."
Don't you? It does.
No one's like, you know where I want to go for summer break? Detroit, Michigan. No one says that. When you think of like the summer, you think of the beach, you think of hot weather. So you're gonna go to like Florida or like LA or Vegas. Like you're gonna think of that type. No, I would fucking hate that. Oh my god, Scottsdale is like
traffic would be terrible.
Well, but also it's just like full of a lot of rich people. So like they would probably be like, "Oh, who are all these weirdos in the street? Who are professional wrestlers? Oh my god,
jacked up guys." Yeah,
yeah,
I kind of agree there.
I'm sure the wrestlers would love it because there's probably like a bunch of hot chicks around. But you know.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, you took the words out of my mouth, and Nikki Ash, hands down,
Yeah.
for me. And then I just want to touch upon this before we get into the 3 count, because I do want to get into the 3 count. The 2020 Money in the Bank match, but asterisk, a little precursor or whatever. I understand there was a pandemic in the world, can't have live events, so you got to be creative on your feet. But it worked out because of that, and I think that you made a shit situation into a pretty decent one. The fact that they had it at the HQ is absolutely bananas and
Is
fighting
that the
all the way
one where
through.
like Becky and Asuka like fought through the building?
Yeah, they all fought through the building, and Vince
Just
McMahon was in a sketch where they were fighting, and they end up in his office.
this is good shit. That's what he said. This is some good shit. If people are not thankful for things that we got from Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse, you need to be thankful for at least things like that. You know, this is some good shit.
Good shit.
Something that Vince would never say about anything that Bray Wyatt was doing with the Firefly Funhouse, but
Irony.
anyway,
At its finest.
yeah.
That's all I had to say about the 2020.
All right, no, I was like, I vividly remember that being like them. I just remember them like fighting through the elevators and
yeah,
whatever.
I liked it, but
well, it was different. But it's like you very well could have had it down in Florida, like at like the PC, like you'd been doing. But
maybe you could have went in the weight room and they were. I don't know. You could have done a lot more with it.
Why didn't you go to the boiler room?
Shit goes
I wanted to
down
see a
in the
boiler room brawl. For the briefcase on top of the boiler. Burn yourself and get this briefcase. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. Bring back boiler room brawls. That's I think that is going to be one of
boiler room brawl. Boiler room
I'm
brawl.
tweeting that. Okay, I'm going to tweet that. Kingdom Razor has this question, and I think it's a really good one. If Money in the Bank existed in the Attitude Era, which god damn it, I wish it did. Who would have won, or who? And I'll expand to who would be participating.
Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio.
Well, okay, W2. Okay, that's ruthless aggression. Are we just lumping?
Okay. Well, now I feel like
D'Lo Brown. Crash Holly would be in. They would find
hardcore too.
Hardcore would be more. Crash would be his guy to come out and help him.
The Hardys, maybe.
The Hardys would be in it. You'd get X-Pac.
Yeah.
You'd have to Billy Gunn, obviously.
Mick Foley.
You gotta have Mankind in there. You're gonna have the Big Show in there. I don't think Undertaker would have been in one.
No.
Still, I don't think he would have been. Maybe you'll rotate Austin, Triple H, The Rock, like that type of star, just for the big factor.
Oh, Too Cool.
Oh, Scotty Too Hottie would have been sick in it.
Oh my god, we used to
love Grandmaster Sexy.
We loved Too Cool so much. My sister was obsessed with Scotty Too Hottie, like obsessed with him. She thought he was such a hottie.
He was too hottie.
He was too hottie. He was a hottie with a naughty body.
Who else? I'm
trying to think of. Is this sad? I'm sitting here like trying to picture my WWF No Mercy roster.
I am so happy I do my rewatches because that roster is fresh in my mind in a sense.
Val Venus.
Hello, ladies.
Oh my god, do you remember his
Godfather? Shirt? Good job, Bernard. Test R.I.P. Al Snow would have absolutely. I should hold on.
Val Venus was a really controversial character that I feel like isn't talked about enough.
I think we should just let Val
I'm just saying, I'm not saying we should. I'm saying like I don't think that people realized what his character was, but
the big Valboski.
It's just like or his like his one shirt that was just like literally like Cum. Like, do you not remember that? It was like written in like cum.
His finisher was the money shot.
But you know what I'm saying? But it was like it was all bubbly and white and drippy. It was like, this is so fucking gross. Who's wearing that though? Who's buying that?
Gets so thrown under the rug. Is his Ken Shamrock. Maybe one. I'll give him one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to Kurt Angle.
I'm trying to think of like who were the high flyers.
They didn't really. That's the
they
problem.
They didn't really have them. That was like that was the era of Vince being like, "Fuck little guys, fuck the skinny guys. I only want the 7-foot wonders." So China. Would China? She went for the IC title.
It's a good question. I don't know if they would have put her in that match.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett. That's one of the people. Owen Hart would have came to mind. Yeah. The Dudleys kind of. But yeah.
Just for the fact that it was a ladder match.
Yeah.
Neither of them were champion in WWE, though. That would have been like a TNA thing.
They revolutionized that for sure. Yeah. Like, tweet us more at @Pen_Pits and at @SmarshXO. More of those because we got to get to. I'm going to take that as the one for the 1, 2, 3 count because we're
talking a lot today.
We have peeps here, so we're for the peeps. 2, who's been wrestling longer? Okay, I need to know. Yes, I have been thinking about this.
Okay,
Billy Gunn and Jeff Jarrett still wrestling.
Are they the same age?
I don't know.
What's creepy about that is if they are, Jeff Jarrett has always looked old. He's like Ric Flair, but without white hair.
Yeah, with that blonde hair.
Yeah, he's always looked like he was 40-something years old. So
to put this in perspective, Matt Hardy's been wrestling for 30 years. It's his anniversary this year.
That pains me.
Billy Gunn has been wrestling longer. Not even, no joke. Like, he's had a match in the 80s. I swear to God. When he was with the Smoking Guns in NWA. And to me, that's
he's in his 50s, isn't he? 60s, 50s, 60s.
He's in his 50s, and
I thought you were looking it up. I'll look it up.
I don't even know what to look because I have so many thoughts going in my head right now.
Okay, I'll look up Billy Gunn age because that's really difficult.
I could have looked that up. I was more like, when was his
Billy Gunn is 59.
Billy Gunn's 59.
Monty Kip Sop. He will be 60 this year in November. Kip Sop.
That's the wrestling figure I have.
Why is he like? He makes me feel weird, but he's like still like kind of attractive because he doesn't like look that bad. Oh, he's actually older than Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's 55.
He's older than Jeff Jarrett. That's what I mean. Like,
he'll be 56 next month. But see, that's the thing. Jeff Jarrett has always looked like he was in his 50s. Like, he's just like one of those old guys. Like, when you watch, well, maybe you don't. I shouldn't just assume. But like, have you ever watched the Golden Girls?
Or I think I've watched.
Those women were like in their 50s.
They were in their 50s?
Yeah, that was supposed to be like 50-year-old women. Yeah, 40, 50-year-old women in the 80s. Like, that's how old they were supposed to be in that show. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the older generations just always looked old as fuck when they were young. Like, even look at their like yearbooks. Those do not look like 18-year-olds. Those looks like 43-year-olds being like, I just graduated high school. And you're like, what? You look like you're like holding down a job with like a 401k. Like, it's not, you did not just like pass history with a C, like, I'm so confused. It's very weird.
To answer our original question, Jeff Jarrett's been wrestling longer than Billy Gunn, but it's only by 3 years.
Yeah. So
Jeff Jarrett made his debut in 86 and Billy Gunn made his debut in 89.
I should be like, hey, Monty Kip Sop, did you know that you started wrestling the year I was born? Oh my God.
89?
Yeah, I was born in 89. I'm exposing myself. All the people are going to come in the comments and be like, oh my God, Sara, I thought you were 23.
But we love those comments that we think you're 23.
Yeah, but I feel like in this context, it would be like not complimentary.
Yeah, perspective is everything.
Sorry to disappoint.
I see this. David, you just knows having my buttons. What match am I looking forward to most at Forbidden Door?
Kenny Omega
Easy
versus
answer.
Will Ospreay.
Not even close. The greatest wrestler on God's green earth, Kenny Omega facing Will Ospreay in a rematch of their just blood feud in New Japan. That is easily my number one. 1B though, Bryan Danielson, Okada. It's just I've watched two New Japan wrestlers, Kenny Omega and Okada. That match was so incredible. And I've seen a little bit of Okada here and there. The Rainmaker, the two of the best in the world too. Like it's just gonna be a brutal wrestling match. Like that is wrestling. They're gonna hit each other so hard that their skin's gonna be pink for weeks or purple for weeks, whatever color that begins with P. Yeah, that match easily I am looking forward. Those two. And I mean I've seen a lot of heat about the Jungle Boy and him challenging for the IWGP title. They just really see something with Jungle Boy that a lot of wrestling fans don't see, and that he's just a good worker. He's over in the sense where he's just a babyface who just likes to wrestle. He's not gonna put on a hellacious promo or a tearjerker. He's just gonna go out there and fight. So I'm for that. For that match, you need to get him in that type of match card, we'll say. And 3, Sarah, do we think we hear an answer from Main Event Jay this week?
No, I think they're gonna hold off on it. I think they're gonna extend it for as long as possible. Because I think that, first of all, I think that makes more sense. You might as well, because we are still like 3 weeks out from Money in the Bank. So it's kind of like you don't know that you really want to have a decision that, I mean, if we're gonna say like the pay-per-view is like the landmark, then I don't know that you want to go like 3 weeks before, like that's a lot that you have to try and do between now and then. Like maybe it comes at Money in the Bank. Maybe that's the answer, or maybe we don't get it until SummerSlam or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think that they're going to draw it out a bit, and that we might see some more sucking up from like Roman and Paul maybe between now and then. But I mean, would I be shocked if we get an answer? No. But I don't know. I don't know that it's the most ideal to go that quickly.
Yeah, I agree.
With it. Yeah.
I agree with that. That's all I got, Sarah. We've been talking a long time about Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
One of, I would say, the top pay-per-views in the WWE fan base right now. When you say like top 5 favorites or whatnot, most exciting, whatever. And I'm very, excited for this year's, which we'll have our predictions in a few weeks when the whole card gets planned out and booked. And until then, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay, Sarah Marshall XO on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. I know that 6 of you are watching right now. So go hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell too to know when we go live. And also, if you don't have an hour, 18 minutes, and 30 seconds to listen.
Can we just answer one question, because I saw he's asked this a couple times?
Oh yeah, go for it.
RJ Jr. says, who are some women you want to see win Money in the Bank in the next few years? Io Sky.
This year. Yeah.
I
would like to see Roxanne Perez.
Mm-hmm. Who else?
I'm trying to think of. Not Ronda.
No. Maybe Raquel.
Raquel would be cool, but I'd rather her be a champion before she is a Money in the Bank winner. I know that sounds weird, but
no, I get it.
Trying to think of like NXT. Oh, Cora Jade.
Oh yeah,
Cora Jade would be awesome. That's who you make a Miss Money in the Bank. She would carry around that briefcase for a while and then cash in when literally everyone's forgot about her. I think that would be a really good heel Money in the Bank winner. So yeah, if you like that, because that little brief and others we clip, okay, we clip them for you. So if you don't have all that time, to watch and you only want to listen to our favorite stuff and not our dislikes, go and check that out. And to know when those clips are live, follow us on social media, Twitter at Pat_Pitts and at SMarsh_ on Instagram at Pitsy35 and at SMarsh_, TikTok at SMarsh XO, where we have clips as well. And then I'm going to plug it here. Monday night, 7 p.m., your boy goes live for the Super Mega Bowl. Patriots, now militia in, my fake little story. I've thought of it with it. The militia. I don't know who I'm facing yet, Sarah. You have to tune in on Monday to find that out. And also tune in on Tuesday for when we go live for the Raw Rewind as well at 7 p.m. So until then, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We will see you next episode.